web application must have the provision to have to be so that some keyword should be entered by the end user, and based on that criteria that the user can switch to or can reach to directly to that web page that he or she is looking for. So this kind of characteristic every web application must support or must have. So next aspect is that yes, the way normal, every not I'm not talking about other application here. We are only talking about the web application. The way other applications are developed, tested, and deployed. Similarly, web application they are also so they are also developed. They also undergo the development, testing, and deployment phase. So development of a website is yes, it is not an event. It is not a one-time process that once we have done it, it will be over. No, it is an ongoing process. Once developed, information in the website need to be maintained based on to the requirement of the end user that we have already talked about. Yes, testing is what testing we know it very well that just to ensure the quality of our work or our web application, testing is to be done very frequently or whenever it is required or whenever some sort of challenges we are facing. So yes, testing is the process of evaluating a system or its component with the intent to find whether it satisfies the specified requirement or not. Every time we have to keep this mindset in our this thought in our mindset that yes, every whatever we are doing with the respect to our software, either it is a web application or any other kind of application, the first criteria must be that it should satisfy the requirement of my user first or my end user whosoever is going to use it. So testing is executing a system in order to identify the gaps so that if some gaps are there, so that can be fixed, and then the final quality product or which meets the requirement of my end user that should fulfill. So if yes, some missing requirements are there, then that must be fulfilled, and that actual requirement must be fulfilled, or the corresponding or the correct concerned person should take the right action in this regard also. Another important aspect is yes, during the deployment, that is all of the activities that make the software system to be available for use. Whatever activities we do under this phase, that will become under the deployment phase. So the general deployment process, it consists of several interrelated activities most of the time with possible transition between them. Sometimes we have to take out the files or executable files and deploy it into the network and all these kind of transition is to be carried out. So these activities can occur at the producer side or at the consumer side or even at both side also, right? So another important aspect that we have to cover with respect to the web application is maintaining. Once our web application has been deployed, we can easily add or update individual piece of application to this particular application which is in question. You might want to update your web application with the new pages. It is the requirement because entire software engineering world is revolving around the business world. We all are here to serve the business world. So if there is some sort of requirement which is mandatory at the part of business, either we are, some product are now out of the market, so we will delete that data or we will update that data, or some new product is to be launched, and then I have to show, offer this information or reflect this information to my target audience. So maybe I need some new pages also. So in that regard, I need to maintain the web application. We have to keep on updating our images if it is required, or perhaps you might change to files that are already deployed. You can copy over the currently deployed files with the new version also. So again, it depends where the maintenance effort is to be required. But yes, even while the application files are browsed by an end user, you can make some changes without affecting the user. So this is a very important aspect. Our, what we call it as our visitor or customer or end user, they should not take this idea with them that, okay, I have visited to this particular web application. Now this web application is not serving me, or it is not showing that information that it was reflecting previously. So that is why it is suggested that whatever changes you want to do, which is good for the health of the web application, just keep on applying, but without affecting the user, functionality. Whatever he was able to do earlier, that must be carry on, and you should keep on working this, this sort of changes into your web application, so that the experience of the user should not be hampered. Users are protected because a temporary copy of the file was downloaded to the user when it was requested. So the newer version is available when the user refreshes the file in the web browser. So that we do understand very well. We always keep on doing this kind of thing. Designing web application again covers some sort of aspect that we have to consider. So when designing a web application, the goal of the software architect is to minimize the complexity. See, this is the only factor to make your web application to be user friendly, to be popular also, right? So by separating the task into different areas of concern, keeping in view of when we apply considerable amount of effort in exploring the target audience, and not only the target audience, rather what could be the possible actions that can be done by these target audience. If we apply considerable amount of effort on this area, then that will really give us a bigger idea in terms of breaking the complexity at the part of web application also. So while designing a secure and high performance application, we have to keep this idea in our mind. So yes, web design and application involve the standards for building and rendering the web pages that include the HTML, CSS, and SVG and device API and other technologies for the which are responsible for the development of the web applications. Another aspect involve, okay, this is the repeated slide. Mobile web application. Nowadays, it is the trending topic that we always talk about, mobile web application, because I told you earlier also that as per the Google latest algo, mobile first is the first need of every business now, because out of 10, 9 transaction is being done, 8 to 9 transaction is done through mobile only. People are always in a exploring mode. They keep on searching about everything, about the college, about the school, about the jeans, about the t-shirt, about the new software, about the new model of the model. For every time our online audience is in exploring mode. So, and the handy nature or the handy feature of mobile encourage the business transaction to move to the next level. So this, keeping this idea into mind, with the increasing and omnipresent nature of the mobile devices, that we do understand that this gadget is really the loving gadget for all of us. Rather, as software engineer, we need to focus on to the methodologies and tools to employ the pitfalls to avoid on the development of highly functional and intuitive and easy to use web apps. So these are the certain parameters that we have to, kept in our mind while specifically when we are talking about the mobile. We have to encourage the, and motivate our visitor to for some intuitive actions also. So keeping this idea, we will develop a mobile web application. Although we will go deep dive onto this topic under Unit 10, and that will really give you a better idea that what aspect we should kept in our mind while developing any sort of mobile web application. So yes, mobile web application, they are developed through the mobile device browsers, and they rely on to the accessibility of internet and web. So these are the certain facts, although these are not from your IGNO stuff, but I find it very useful for you, and this kind of stuff will really differentiate your answer sheet with that of the other people's answer sheet. So that's why I have kept it here also. So yes, there are certain facts that tell about that 6.8 billion people on this planet, and 5.1 billion of the whom they have their own cell phone. So keeping in these kind of metrics in our mind, we can get an idea that how this percentage will further increase in the near future also. So because of this reflects the popularity of the smartphone also, and the number of users accessing the internet on the smartphone has more than the double in the 5 years. Rather, in the 2020, when everyone was bound to stay at the home, then the usage of internet was rapidly increasing. So that that kind of thing again give us an encouragement that yes, there is a lots of scope in developing the mobile web application and all. So yes, these are the number of 5 years has a number of user downloading and using mobile app. So you can imagine this is the current statistic that I have captured from some reliable sources, and now this figure will keep on increasing or changing basically. So we are getting a kind of idea that yes, people are now highly motivated to use the mobile web applications. Sorry. So that is why mobile computing is becoming increasingly global also. Differentiating web application or apps from the website boundaries are really a very dynamic aspect. So the important takeaway is that apps are generally small and do something specific that we do understand, because every day we use some or other way we use a app. Sometimes just to convert our one kind of a file with that of the another one, and sometimes to do some financial transaction, for filling up my electricity bill or mobile bill, and lots of for even to get vaccinated for COVID or booster and all. We always rely on these kind of specific actions onto the mobile apps and all. So even some photographic sites are also the good examples of the web application. You can mention this name also, that is Flickr website on your mobile browser, LinkedIn, Yahoo that we popularly use, and different sort of browser. So every company's marketing page is it is a website also. Such site can be accessed through mobile devices browser, but only if they have the web access. So there are other examples of web application that include browsers, add-on and online retail store like Amazon and all, Mantra and all, email platforms, and like what we call it as a frog, couldn't remember, and even flash games. Desktop application, they run onto the desktop, don't need any web access to function. They could be represented by means of icons and often come standard with new computer. Every day we use these kind of tools with us, that is iPhoto, Paint and Notepad and this kind of web desktop application. So they could also refer a custom application which is used for the specific purpose within a corporate environment also. Now let's understand in brief about what is web software engineering. Yes, it is a multidisciplinary which include lots of diversified area. When we are going to develop any sort of web application or web software, we have to think in context of various other parameters also. Like I have to think in terms of system analysis and design context, in which we have to not only think in terms of business aspect, rather we have to think in terms of all holistic serving of this particular software at different levels. Apart from this, in context of software engineering, in terms of how we have connected many internal web pages of a website, all this requires the entire hypertext engineering. And yes, the backbone of entire software engineering is the requirement, how we have captured, how refinedly in a promising way we have refined the requirements, and how we have formalized into the formal document. All these aspects will cover under the requirement engineering. And how finally, because our software is to be used by the human being only, so how the human computer interaction or interface kind of things will play an important role, because the success of every software depends how beautifully and how logically and how relevantly we have connected different interfaces within the software. So yes, user interface information, engineering information, how useful, how my customer is able to retrieve a particular piece of information, all these accessibility criteria and testing, modeling and simulation aspect will actually help me to develop a better web software in this regard. Apart from this, in the very beginning we understood this point also, that entire software engineering is revolving around that how efficiently we are able to apply the human effort, and to judiciously utilize the human effort, we are Also, we have also integrated the project management practices also with this, this particular software, because software is a very costly element. So if it is costly, so then if the things will not be, managed, this risk will not be covered. So it can again create a great, it could be a great loss for the company. So all these aspects we have to, all the project management aspect must also be, considered while developing any sort of web application. So in nutshell, we can say that entire a single software, it includes the blending of lots of expertise together, and that expertise and the juice which comes out after the application of all these aspects will really create a difference, will really help to create a quality, software also. So yes, aesthetic part always plays an important role. How I have put the graphics over there, how they are connected with one another, what message they are conveying, how the things are presenting, all these aesthetics part of the software will also plays a important role. Web engineering is neither a clone nor a subset of the software engineering. Yes, although whatever most of the things you must be considering that okay, all these kind of things we have to apply on every kind of application that we are going to develop. But yes, here there's a clear cut demarcation over here that yes, web engineering is the subset of software engineering. It means we have to tap a specific idea onto this part, that how to, what mindset must be there in the minds of what ideas must be there in the minds of software engineer while developing a web application. So and software, it uses software engineering principle, how they are interrelated with one another, because while developing the web applications, I have make use of certain principles of the software engineering. I have used some methodologies or best practices and techniques and tools that were already the foundation of any web application, So yes, it supports in the design, development and evolution of the software also, because every software is not a optimized software. There is always some scope of improvement into it. So that is why we always keep on this idea into our mind that yes, as IT is an ever evolving industry, there is always some scope of improvement into it. So but once you have applied the new changes into the software, then that changes must be evaluated by the right concerned person, so that the whatever was the idea, either that idea has been actually transformed into the working model or in the form of software or not, that must be evaluated. It encompasses new approaches, again methodologies, tools and technique with the passage of time, because software keep on changing in response to the hardware and other platforms and other connecting or integrated components also. So and the idea is to meet the unique requirement of any web-based applications. Web engineering also uses some I think this point is already again duplicate, but there are certain challenges that we have to face while managing any web-based project. What kind of challenges we are about to face? So yes, the first challenge is in managing the requirement. So while a requirement document might be prepared and approved by the customer, okay, now what will happen? There could be many issues that are hard to capture in any document. If this documentation is incomplete and I haven't put some parameter which I have observed but I haven't documented it, again it means some gaps are arising. So despite having the detailed discussion with the customer to ensure that the viewpoint of the developer and the customer do not diverge, regular communication is the must. Again, you must be able to recall that statistics earlier that I have shared, that in software engineering, 70% problem arises because of incomplete communication or no communication or gaps in communication. So communication is a kind of brahmastra in the hand of software engineer that we must use it liberally wherever it is required. It should not only be verbal, it should be through email, it should be through other mode of communication, whatever is the culture of your organization. Another important area where the challenges you must be you must be expecting are at the part of project itself. So the essence of managing the project is proper planning. Again, planning is the backbone of entire software engineering. If I haven't applied the proper planning for a particular software project which is in hand, so again, this is not the failure at the part of people's capability, not at the part of organization's capability. Rather, it is the lack of planning which leads to the failure of this particular project. So then executing the project according to the plan, because planning is again is a kind of blueprint. Once we have the plan with us, then again then the things can be tracked, and if some sort of deviation is there, then that can be tracked. So if the project deviates from the plan, we need to take corrective action or change. But imagine the scenario if I haven't prepared any sort of plan. So how this kind of scenario will arise? You don't have any plan. You are not even tracking anything, and even you are not aware where the deviation is going on and what all are the factors behind this deviation. Why this gap is arising? So to answer all these queries, there is only one parameter which can, serve as a boon to the software engineering industry. That is the proper planning. So we have to, as a software, as a part of the leading team, we have to. It is not always required that always you make a plan because you are the leader. No, you get it being prepared by the team member. You just review it and see all the plans are interconnected, they are derived from one another, all the aspect has been covered or not. So all these dimension will actually help you to control this software development project in a better way and in a more controlled way, so that you can take some corrective action also. Apart from this, what all are the possible plan document, or we can say the baby plans, which is the part of this parent plan. So there are, besides the project management plan, there are other subordinate plan also, which will serve to which if not been taken care, then it will be considered or it will be treated as a challenge or issues in the management of web-based project. So yes, configuration management plan must be there, quality assurance plan must be there, and there should be a rigorous audit on that part also, so that you can check it out either the compliance has been applied or not, all the standard of the organization has been applied while making this particular software or not. Quality control plan, which covers all the technical reviews and technical aspect of the testing. Risk management plan, training plan, matrix plan, and defect prevention plan. So in nutshell, so don't you think that this entire plan will again giving you a kind of system approach? When we draw this kind of circle, it's give us a 360-degree view or a holistic kind of view. So if being a project manager of my team, if I will review all these plans which are in front of you, so definitely lots of gaps, lots of communication challenges will be resolved. But again, the point is this: if this will not be taken care, it will become a challenge for the software developer. Another aspect, that is the configuration management. Yes, it is the task of tracking and controlling the changes. If I was the part of that meeting in which we were talking about some sort of changes to be applied. So again, as a configuration manager, you must have be able to recall that video in which Mr. Harry was the only concerned person who was taking care of all the aspect of the configuration management. So being a configuration manager or leader of your software development team, you should take care of or track these kind of things, that either whatever discussion was going on, it is being incorporated into the documentation or that repository or not. So if again some gap is to be there, that gap should be taken care, and that gap should be fulfilled, so that this kind of challenges will be resolved. Again, SCM practice include revision control. You must be able to recall that diagram that was reflecting a kind of different types of version and all. So all these things must be managed under the baseline also. And if it is not managed, so again it will become a challenge for us. Measurement, as entire software engineering revolving around the key matrix parameter, which really play a very important role. So yes, it is important to measure our software work, that we can keep control of the proceeding. That is the key to being able to manage the project, because how many people are there, fault, number of bugs, number of faults, when the project was started, when it is going to finish, how many lines of codes are there, which this estimation model I have used, which model I have applied into this. All these kind of things or parameter, they will fall under the category of measurement. Let me Someone is trying to enter. Yes. So another important thing is risk management. Risk is always lossy by nature, that we have already gone through in the past classes. Yes, risk is an event. It is unpredictable event, rather I must say, which if it will happen, then definitely it will have a impact onto the project, but which may or may not occur. It is quite possible because it is uncertain. So it is quite possible also that it may not occur. Thinking of the possible risk is the first step in trying to take care of them. So in nutshell, we can say that risk management, it's all about taking care of or doing the homework for all those activities which could happen in the future or in the running scenario also, and what could be the possible plan of action if this particular risk will happen. So all this previous homework that we do to safeguard the any software, that will be called as a risk management. Now here we are having a team with different expertise. Every team member has its own role also in the our web application or our web development application or organization, or we can say in our software development organization. So yes, what could be the possible role of the webmaster? Yes, it take care of the site on a day-to-day basis. What all is going on? If some sort of challenges are arising at the part of in the normal functioning of the any website, so that it is the responsibility of Mr. Webmaster to keep the our website into good health. So it involves different close interaction with the support team. Support team here, we are talking about the development team who will fix the error whatever will be encountered during that particular day, so that the problems are resolved and the appropriate changes has been applied. So support team will actually fix the all the things which will be highlighted by the webmaster. So gathering how these challenges or this kind of day-to-day challenges arises. So yes, we will to capture this idea or to capture these parameters, because it is my responsibility to take care of this website in good health. So definitely I must interact with my target audience. So in this regard, I will ask for the feedback. So again, if some sort of feedback is to be taken care then and there, so I will take the corresponding action in this regard also. So yes, bugs could be, broken links can be observed. Some people are clicking on a particular web page and I'm clicking on a particular link also, but that link is not opening, or it is sometimes it is redirecting to other pages, and all this kind of interconnectivity kind of errors could also be there. So also we can ask, by interacting with our target audience, we can ask for their suggestions and questions, because the kind of challenges or the kind of things anyone is expecting, so that can be asked not frequently but once in a month can be asked. So that will really help us to make an optimized to give an optimized solution in terms of our website also. So yes, this need to be passed to the support team also, who are engaged in adapting the site in tune with this information. So whatever feedback, either it is if it is specifically if I am talking about the negative feedback, so if some sort of changes is to be applied, that information must be circulated to the right channel by the webmaster. It is the only responsibility of webmaster to take care of this kind of things and all. So ensuring proper access control and security for the site, it is always a prerequisite for any kind of any kind of application rather. This could also include authentication. Only the authorized person should be able to take to see a particular piece of data or to do some sort of specific transaction also, and taking care of the machine that house the server and so on. So all these aspects we have to take care. Now let's talk about the role of support team, or we can call it as an application support team also. So if some sort of bugs has been observed, so yes, this support team will remove the bugs and will take care of the cosmetic irritant. Cosmetic irritant, like the moment I go to your site, a pop-up comes to me and asks for some information. I am not able to reach directly to my relevant particular piece of information. So this kind of irritant, it really bothers our customer, and we are here to make such a web application which give a good user experience rather than making our customer to be irritating. So we have to take care of all that aspect also. Changing the user interface from time to time if it is creating some sort of confusion also, to accommodate the user feedback also, and to make it more contemporary also. right? Altering the business rules to the application is another area which will be, supported by, or which will be implemented by the support team also.
Ma'am,
But
I have a question.
I will take these questions at 10:45 because otherwise the flow will get distracted and all. I will
Okay.
finish my part by 10:45. In the last 15 minutes, I will take on your questions, right?
Okay, ma'am.
Please have it with you, so we will cover it. So another aspect of is that where the this support team has to take role is when, yes, we have to introduce new feature into our running web application, or some new scheme is to be reflect, or sometime even we have to disable some older features or functionality also. It is also required. Yes, content is said to be the soul of any web application. The Atma Paramatma of ever a web application is content. Customer is always, even in some of the blogs I have gone through, that was written as it is the called as a king part of entire, your digital effort rather. So web application, they really require much more ongoing and sustainable effort to retain the user interest. So if my, some of the visitor or some of the customer has asked for some particular piece of data and I'm not serving to that, so definitely they will not repeat, they will not come again to my site. So if they have asked for something and I have provided that particular content to my user, so definitely they will not only that will ensure the revisit of my existing customer, rather they will encourage other new customer also. So that is our website should also be served to all the needs of the different players. So because of the need to change the content in the website, content development team could be researchers or who seek out useful and interesting facts and figure. You know very well that some people are specifically they work at the part of they work as a blogger or content writers. So they are expert in different areas and so on. So the content must be edited before being served. This is the most important aspect. See, whatever content we are offering, because it is the only criteria by which Google understand that how we are serving to the Google's customer by in terms of different web application. So if whatever content I am reflecting through my web application is, it must be reviewed by the right person, because people trust on that information which is being provided at the digital world. So if that is having so many spelling mistake and no facts and figure are associated with no such kind of authenticity, it could be imagine or could be feel through this, so that will not serve the purpose of content. So our content development team should always think in that way, that what the people are talking about, what buzz is going on around the the digital world, in the cyberspace, what is going on basically. So that will really help the content writer. Not only it is the responsibility of content writer, rather if I'm managing my own web application, so I can ask for some content developer to write a content on this particular topic, so that I want to increase the footfall of visitor or traffic onto my website, on my web application, right? So yes, so you must be able to get an idea that how important is the role of content development team in making the not only your web application to be popular, to be trustworthy and worthful also. Publisher. So this is an important role that connects the content development team to the actual website. So we can say that web publisher, it basically act as a bridge between the content development team and the website. So the raw material which is created by the writer has to be converted into a form that is suitable for serving out of a website. So again, not only it is a kind of communication bridge, rather it is actually transforming to the content into that format so that it can actually serve to my customer. Development and maintenance issues, these are the two dimensions in a nutshell we have to consider, that if some sort of changes is to be applied onto my software, then that will be the area where the maintenance or challenges is to be arise, and again at the part of project management. Although these two parameters we have already talked about in the past. Matrix, yes, it is a quantitative measure of the degree to which a system or a component or a process possesses a given attribute that we do understand. A handle or a guess about a given attribute is again a matrix. Even if I'm saying that my software is going, I'm going to develop a software in Java. Again, it is a metric. Now you all must be able to get an idea that okay, my software is I'm going to develop in a Java language, not Python, not C Sharp, and not other languages. So, okay, how much time it will take? It will take 3 months. How much people will involve? Let's say 4 people, right? So, in this way, all these parameters are the ideas for the matrix part. Effort matrix can be gathered through a timesheet, and we can measure the total effort in different kinds of activity to build up the entire matrix. So I will just summarize this part in the form of this way. Whenever the moment we have started our software development work, just make a, you can take a Google sheet or Excel sheet, whatever, or even other software if you are comfortable with. So whatever is going on or whatever values are there, that must be jotted down somewhere, because that will actually help us to connect the matrix when we will finally create a report with respect to our software also. So all, even what sort of sorry, activities we are planning or we are about to apply with respect to the software, that also is a kind of metric, and it must be the part of metric database also, so that we can refer it in the future also, right? So the quality of the application can be measured in terms of defects that are found during the internal testing or reviews. So if let's say you have written a blog and I am just going to review it. So what are my reviews? What are my findings? What are my observations? All this data again is a kind of matrix, and that must be restored so that it can be referred in future also. And even some external defect, if there are certain external defect also, so that must be again mentioned in the form of matrix, so that it can be reported to the right channel. And we really want to encourage our visitor to have a second visit or repeat customer. We want to make it, we want to, rather I must say, transform our visitor to the repeat visitor rather. Analysis that we do understand very well, that yes, requirement analysis in system engineering and system software engineering encompasses those tasks that go into determining the need or the condition to meet for a new or altered product. Because now here analysis is not the preliminary kind of, now we are assuming that okay, some changes has been applied, so now I'm analyzing that either the new product has incorporated all the suggested new changes or not. So now analysis is done at this level, basically taking account of possibly conflicting requirement of various stakeholders. It is quite possible that whatever the thing was going on previously, so now it is not serving 100%. So maybe it can raise some sort of conflict at the part of different stakeholder also. So yes, everything. So we have to keep this idea into our mind, or while analyzing this situation, we have to check across the different lens also. And again, everything must be documented, verified, validated with respect to the software requirement. Design and construction, where we have to lay great emphasis is onto the user interface, because this is the only aspect where our customer will interact with that interface. So there are several aspects that we have to take care while developing or while creating any sort of user interface. That is, visual appeal and aesthetic should be there. Aesthetic is a specific kind of study which work onto the which work onto the creation of feel good factor at the part of customer, or our interfaces should be eye catchy, it should be appealing, or visually all the creatives whatever I'm using, it must be eye catchy. So all that aspect we have to consider while designing the good interface. Ease of entry of data must be there at the part of customer. Ease of obtaining the application response. Let's say the way we capture very easily we capture the data from the Google form and all. So if I have some sort of application or some sort of interfaces which is asking for the responses or some input from the user, like we do into the landing page, I'm asking for your name, your let's say address, or your phone number, your program and all. So all these things must be whatever I have captured, it must be easily able to access at my part also. So yes, robust every software nowadays is a robust because our web application is having such a feature, so that they can forgive lots of small errors. So this quality of a software to forgive small errors, and still the thing is going on, still the output is generating, and my software is not raising so many exception all the time, because some parameters are being digestible at the part of my software. So this is a great parameter, or this should be the criteria while designing and construction of any application. Again, while in conventional application, a program is the smallest unit that we test. In web application, it is more likely to be a single web page. So we should check out the content, we should check out the navigation journey of the visitor, and links to other pages as a part of testing out a page. Even if I'm testing a single page, because to check if a website is having, let's say, 70 pages, so it is not possible to check each and everything. But yes, by applying page by page checking, we can get a healthy review on that part, and then the corresponding changes can be applied. So once all the pages of a web application are ready, we can perform the integration testing. We check out how the pages work together. So whenever an error is caught and fixed, we should repeat the test to ensure that solving a problem has not been caused due to another problem elsewhere. So now you must be able to get an idea that how important it is, that in why software engineering is done in such a logical, scientific, and in a consistent way, because everywhere whatever small changes we are applying, we have to apply the entire entire SDLC kind of cyclic process. Again, application of entire repeat SDLC means, again, it involves lots of time at the part of different team members. So again, time is a cost to the organization. So that is why it is always considered as an important aspect. So with this, I'm finished with this what we call it, this one. And now I will quickly cover the unit 11 first. It will take lots of time, so I will cover it at 10:30 or 10:20. Yes. Quickly jump to that part. That is a small question, 10 marks question in deep. Now we are at the chapter number 11, blockchain. I have left unit 10. I hope today I will be able to finish 11, 12, and I will be able to start 10 even. So just to finish it, because it will be finished and we are left only with one class with us. By next Saturday will be our last class. So I will try my level best to cover all the theoretical aspect in these theory classes only. But if some topics will left, no problem, we will cover into the practical classes also. Not to worry. So now we are considering, I am about to start the unit 11 that revolves around web, mobile, and case tool. What is case tool? That is called as a computer-aided software engineering tool. So in this regard, firstly, let me clear you this idea that why this case tool is playing an important role in the entire software engineering. So the birth of case tool was due to a scenario when there was lots of software crisis was realized, and even some challenges we were facing, or software industry were facing at the part of quality also. So to produce the good quality software on time, software, and to bring the break the dependency onto human being also. So these were the three aspects which has actually given birth to the case tool. So case tool has not only expedited the entire SDLC process, because we are moving from most of the activities that we do manually initially. Now with the help of these case tools, we are doing it with the help of different tools or gadgets also. So even this case tool will serve as a repository also, and case tool give us some kind of disciplinary approach also. So that really help us to create a good quality software also. So the idea that to go ahead into this part further, you should keep this idea into your mind that why we are moving towards the case tool, so that we can very quickly we can launch the software, or we can live the software or web application. And another is to break the dependency onto the human being, rather than we trust onto the have dependency onto the technology. It is more trustworthy, aspect of running the business and all. So these are the certain aspect. By using case tool, all the case tool has spread its wing in all the phases of the SDLC. It is not restricted to only the requirement phase or to the analysis phase only. Rather, whatever 7 phases we have gone through under the SDLC phase, either it is requirement and feasibility and designing and coding and testing and implementation and maintenance and training, wherever whatever we are doing under the different phases of SDLC, everywhere case tools are spreading their wings. So yes, case tools are the software engineering tools that permit the collaborative software development. I always keep on repeating this line that yes, software engineering is not a one-man army show. It is a collaborative effort, and lots of people with different expertise, with different skill set. They are working collaboratively into the development of a single software. So yes, in this regard, case tools are also allowing us to have a put our effort in a collaborated way also, because the way we use Canva, you all must be knowing Canva.com. We create lots of good creatives over there, and other even you can create DFD and use case and many more kind of things over there. So if I have started a use case and let's say I haven't completed, and let's say Anjali is one of my colleagues, she is asking for some support from that on that use case, so she can again join through my Canva login, and we can collaboratively work on to that thing. So this kind of feature, this kind of functionality or power, we can say the case tool is giving to, so that the software development work can be done in a collaborated way. So case tool not only support in all the phases of the software development life cycle that I have already covered. So it includes umbrella activities such as the project management and configuration or change management also. Case tool may support the following development steps in the creation of the data flow diagram and in entity relationship diagram, establishing a relationship between the requirement and models, because every time we were relying on to the manual effort. Now case tool has developed such a technological tools that really help us to automate most of the tasks. Even development of the top level design, the wireframe kind of things, or we can say the layouts kind of tools really help us to have a top level design creation. And also on this part, development of function and process description is also there. So because testing always begin with the test case development. So all you can imagine the scenario where we are trying to do the software engineering task with the help of case tools also. Case tools. So based on to the usage where these case tools will be applied and on which phase of the SDLC we are going to apply it, case tool has been classified into 3 major categories: upper case tool, lower case tool, integrated case tool. Upper case tool are those case tool which will support us or which will help us in automizing the effort in the analysis and designing phase. And lower case tools are those tools which help in the coding configuration, because every time we are not only having the now entire coding is not done manually, we are having lots of that automatic tool with us that will help us to generate the code or macro programming kind of things. So integrated case tool, they are the blending of these two tools, that is upper and lower case tool. Wherever it is required, we use it. So what is the need? Zarurat kya hai? So the case tool provides the integrated homogeneous environment for the development of complex projects. Because the idea which has encouraged the software development industry to go for the launching of this kind of tool is so that the complexity that arises at the part of complex project, that can be handled easily, that can be streamlined basically. So they allow creating a shared repository also. Again, you remember that scenario where Mr. Harry was managing the entire repository. So again, by doing the software development activities by means of case tool will encourage us to have a repository also. So whenever there's a need of some piece of data, we can access that data from this particular repository also, right? I can input this also, and in the need of hour, I can fetch some data out of it also, right? So that can be utilized to minimize the software development time also. So every time it is not a good suggestion to just, okay, if I'm not able to find a particular file or documentation, just go and recreate it. No, it's not an idea. It's not a good idea. It's not a good software engineering practice rather. So just go to the case repository and you will be able to find it. So again, it will save the cost also. Reduce the cost as they automate many repeated manual tasks because automation is going on. So case tool is what they are doing. They are transforming manual effort into the automatic effort, right? So automate हो रहा है हमारा बहुत सारा task. It reduce development time of the project as they support the standardization and avoid the repetition and reusability also. Developer have better quality complex project as they provide greater consistency and coordination because everything is readily available with them. Even I don't, this particular matrix may not serve exact purpose, but the understanding that I will grab out of it, that will really serve the purpose. Even sometimes case tool we use it for to have a good quality documentation also, even to create systems that are maintainable because of the proper control of configuration item, so that support the traceability requirement. So sometimes when we apply the reverse engineering or forward engineering kind of things, then this case tool, the repository of the case tool which is being offered by it, that really serve the purpose. There are different sorry, there are different case tools. That is, yes, what could be the possible characteristics of any kind of case tool? That is, they must be embedded with some standard methodology. Flexibility must be there, changeability must be there, it must be integratable at different level, strong integration support must be there, integration with testing software must be there so that the things can be tracked, and it should support to the reverse engineering also. And another important amazing feature is online help everywhere, because no one can be the master of everything. But yes, having every case tool is embedded with some sort of online help feature, then it will really create a difference. Or we can take then and there help and can resolve the challenge which we are facing. So what could be the possible environment for the case software development? So case tools support extensive activity during the software development process. Some of the functional features that are provided by the case tool for the software development are, what are these? What can I do with the help of these case tools? I can create software requirement specification requirement document. I can create design specification, which is called SDD, and in short it is called as a SRS, right? So all the major documents on which the entire software engineering is revolving, I can get it done with the help of this case tool. Even I can create some sort of cross references. If one reference is there and I have already mentioned into some other documentation, so that cross references can be applied. Even we can verify, analyze, and relationship between requirement and designing document. You can find out different configuration parameters also, and that are included into a particular project, and to some prototypes. So all these things which are in front of you, even what kind of validation I have applied, how the things were verified, what verification, what was the base of this verification, what supporting document I have taken during the verification part. All this documentation, all this facts and figure can be generated with the help of these case tools basically. So this kind of such a kind of healthy environment is being created with the help of this case tool, because everything is documented now. So good and effective requirement software engineering tools need to incorporate the best practices of requirement definition and management. So the case tool must have the following feature. What are these from the requirement engineering viewpoint? So that every case tool must be dynamic, it must be support editing environment. It's not like the static kind of that once the thing is done, it is not editable. So rich editing environment means the thing must be editable at different layer, at different team player also. if it is required to capture and manage the requirement. And there should be a centralized repository that I have already talked about, to create a task driven workflow also, because most of the time it is not always recommended to start the work from the scratch. No, we can ask for some already task list which is already there, and just do the required amendment into it, and then can start working onto it. So that kind of purpose is being served by the case tool. And case tool, apart from this, if you want to check that the right product is being built or not, so you must be able to get an idea that all these major aspects are taken care by means of case tools only. So even if you want to ensure that the software being developed will satisfy its stakeholder or not, all this can be with the help of these case tool. We can because now these case tool are playing their important role onto which dimension of software engineering, that is requirement engineering, because requirement is the core part of software development. So now every aspect of case tool is working onto the requirement part. So check that the software requirement specification is against the stakeholder goals and requirement or not. Even if I want to estimate the amount of effort which will be applied into this particular project, and the cost part, and the project schedule, deadline, Gantt chart, PERT chart, staff requirement, what will be the possible staff requirement, what all could be the possible constraint that can impact the functionality of this particular software, and what all are the quality parameters. To capture all these requirement and to manage all these requirements, we are relying nowadays on case tools basically. So yes, case tools support the analysis and design phase of the software development. Some of the tools which is supported by the design tools are structure chart, program document language chart, in which normal English like language we can document the things what is supposed to be done. Optimization of ER and other models, flow chart, and database design tools, and file design tools. So for all these things, or in this phases, we are using the basically case tools. Case repository, yes, write brief note on case repository. What do you understand by case repository? How case repository will really serve the software engineer? Is this kind of question can be asked? So yes, case repository store the software system information. It include analysis and design specification, which will actually help in analyzing these requirements and converting into the program code, or actually executable software application, and then the thing can be documented as well. So again, case repository, having that case repository means I can have data, I can have process, I can patch what model details was there into that previous or existing project, and what all could be the possible rules and constraints, keeping in view of the business rules and all these aspects. So this case repository is giving the data of all these dimensions with respect to this. So I am just putting this arrow. You will be able to get an idea that yes, you must specifically focus onto this thing. When when the data is there, then it must be readily available with them. So, but our mindset should be like that every data which is related to this particular software must be the part of the case repository. Software testing, the tool which is the software testing, it is basically giving you an idea that what even case tools are supporting at the part of testing also. So the tool case tool must support all the testing phases. Either we are planning for the testing, or managing the testing, or executing all type of tests, either functional, performance, integration, alpha, beta, gamma, or stress kind of testing, whatever is there. It should integrate with other third-party testing tools also, because most of the time testing is always done in both the ways, manual as well as automatic. But previously manual was, the ratio of manual testing was high, but now it is less. So it should support all the local and remote execution also, test execution. It should create a log of test when the test was executed, what was the input, what was the outcome, what was expecting, and what was actually coming out. All this test run data should also be, we should be able to have such a tool with us under the case tool category that should encourage us to apply or to do all these kind of thing also. It should output meaningful report on test completeness, test analysis. it can provide automated testing results also. Again, configuration management, software configuration management, which is also called as a change management, is important from the view of deployment of the software application. SCM controls deployment of the new software version, and SCM should have the following facilities. Creation of configuration means the first is we have to identify those areas or those component where the changes within a software is to be applied, or on which component of the software the changes is to be applied. So there, that is why it is written here that creation of the configuration. Here one word should also be there, that is items, so that the things can be judged, things can be understood. This document, a software builds and enable the version to be produced on demand. Configuration lookup scheme must be there so that we can, so that the concerned person become enabled to see only the change file to be rebuilt, this entire application to be rebuilt. So you must be able to get an idea that yes, case tool are playing, or they are entering into each aspect of the software development also, right? So the case tool help in effective management of the team and project also. Let's look at into some of the features of the case tool in this respect. Yes, how case tool will help to support at the part of team. So yes, with the help of by sharing and securing the project using username and password, and allowing the reading of the project related document, excluding editing of the document आपको allow किया जा रहा है, and linking the document for sharing, even automatically communicated the change request to approver and all the person who are sharing this document. It should support drawing of schedules using PERT and Gantt chart, and it should also be easy to use such that the task can be entered easily. The link among the tasks should be easily desirable, and even the all by having these case tool, I can find out that how many milestones are there in this particular project, and where the critical path, what is the critical path, and even some sort of if deviation is there that can also be highlighted. So with this, so again, the takeaway point for all of you is this: please prepare your notes in this way so that you can capture 10 out of 10. This question, if you will see the previous question paper, although this is this you can take it as a reference only. So this question is very frequently asked in every semester or in every examination. Sometimes it is being asked into the 5 marks, and sometimes it is being asked into the 10 marks. So you prepare your stuff in this way so that you can attempt or you can grab 10 on 10, right? So this is important from the examination point of view also. Now I'm going to enter into another part, that is CBSE or clean room software engineering, and these are the different aspects. Let me give you a brief on this part also. Just a minute. Again, clean room software engineering. Here the clean room word, it was derived by Dr. Harlan Mills. So again, the idea behind the clean room software engineering to have some statistical data with us, and that statistical data, that quantitative data will really help us to create not only the quality software, rather to have a tracing parameters also with us that really help us to optimize the software also. So yes, clean room software engineering is an engineering and managerial process. Now here, to have a quality software, to have a good software, to have a software which breaks the complexity at different level, this kind of things will come out by the application of managerial process. So clean room software engineering understand this aspect of project management also, that how important it is, the managerial skills also, that will really help us to produce a good quality software. So clean room software engineering is such a kind of engineering practices. It focuses on those aspects of the software development which includes the managerial process for the development of high quality software with certified reliability. Certified reliability means once that criteria has been applied during the development of the uh, means the criteria which was guided by the clean room, once this criteria has been applied in the development of this particular software, then we can assure that this software will be a quality software. So if my software is of quality software, then it can be certified because it is assuring some sort of functionality basically. So that is why we are using this term, that clean room means we are focusing on to the development of high quality software with certified reliability, security, and safety also. So that we can give this feel to the end user also. So again, a clean room was taken from the electronic industry, where a physical clean room exists to prevent the introduction of the defect during the hardware fabrication and all. So what all are the principle for the development of the quality software? So there are certain principle that we will understand under this clean room concept. So that is incremental development under statistical quality control. It is also called as a SQC, or you possibly you will be able to see this as a question, defined SQC. So that is software quality control or statistic control. So incremental development as practiced in the clean room provides a basis for the statistical quality control of the development process. So if I'm saying that my software is a very complex software, it is having so many lines of code. So many lines of code will not serve the purpose. Let me clearly define the matrix. And let's say I'm saying that 2,500 lines of codes are there. So now it has become a statistical parameters in context of this example. Similarly, number of bugs and all that matrix values will add a differentiation in the development of software. So we don't have to be so much intuitive all the time, so much this kind of way. Rather, whatever decision we are taking, everything is based on to some facts and figure, or on to the basis of some statistical with us, right? So this aspect is covering that part basically. Software development which is based on to the mathematical principle, because clean room software engineering focusing on to the development of the quality software, and again it is based on to the matrix. So that matrix will serve the purpose if it is measurable. So here comes the role of mathematical principle. So the key principle is that the computer program is an expression of mathematical function. That we do understand that the entire IT industry, development industry, in which when we make use of any computer science aspect of the development, so that basically work onto the basis of mathematical aspect. So software testing based onto the statistical principle. In clean room software testing, it is viewed as a statistical experiment. So in nutshell, the idea that you must capture over here is that not only we have to have quantitative with that data with us, rather that quantitative data must be mappable based on some mathematical function also. Incremental planning. As I already told you that yes, planning is the backbone in every aspect of the software industry. So here the clean room software engineering principle, they are also emphasizing on this part, that project plan is built around the incremental strategy. How the things will go ahead, that must also be planned. When the things will happen, who will do it, how it will be done, everything must be the part of this planning document. Requirement gathering. Customer requirements are elicited and refined for each increment using traditional method. So we can make use of traditional method also to get the exact requirement from the client also, right? Box structure specification. Here box structure isolate and separate the definition of the behavior, data, and procedure at each level, because the same application is being used by different key players. Sometimes admin is using, sometimes some super user or super admin are using, or sometimes customer is using. So here box structure specification means whenever you are going to develop the clean room software engineering onto the any software, we have to isolate the context part of the behavior of our software also, right? Because every user has its own journey of implementation. So this idea, formal design. Specification, that is the black box, are iteratively refined to become the architectural design. So if I'm applying the clean room software engineering approach in the development of my software, so I will iteratively refine to become to not only a single attempt will not give me the full-fledged formal design. So I must be ready to have a different copies of refinement, or I must be ready to ask for the different reviews so that the formal design should be should satisfy the client requirement. So again, and component level design parameter will also be considered. Next one is correctness verification. Correctness verification is always in association with that of the SRS. So correctness questions are asked and answered. Formal mathematical verification is used, or wherever it is required. It means if it is required to directly connect with the target audience to answer few questions, because we have to sometimes technology will not serve the purpose here. So sometimes we have to physically meet to the person and should answer, should get the exact word, or should get the exact intentions also. So that can be translated. So that correctness verification again it is playing a very important role in clean room software engineering also. For code generation, inspection verification, so these block structure are translated into the program language so that the inspection are used to ensure the conformance of the code and boxes. So whatever was expected, so we can have such a tool with us that will verify that the intended task is or intended code is serving the purpose or not. Statistical and test planning is there. A suite of test cases is created to match the probability distribution of the projected product usage pattern. So again, how many test plan has been there, what values is there, all this is the part of this statistical test planning document. Statistical use testing, again, when I'm going to do the testing, so I will have everything in a measurable way. So statistic must be associated with this. So that sample, even if I'm referring some sort of sample data, so all possible test cases should be mentioned here. But yes, clean room software engineering also encourages not to go for exhaustive testing. Rather, because again, exhaustive testing will involve lots of effort also. Every thing has two aspects, good and bad. So some limitations are also associated with the application of clean room software engineering also. So yes, some people believe that clean room techniques are too theoretical, too mathematical, and too radical for use in real software development, where there is a minute by minute updation is there. So in that scenario, clean room software engineering cannot be applied. So this sort of thinking is a kind of limitation, because these are the facts that we can't deny basically, right? So relies on to the correctness and verification and statistical quality control rather than the unit testing also. So yes, whatever the outcome of unit testing is reflecting, sometimes we have to bypass that parameter and we have to rely on to the correctness verification parameter. But I have applied that unit testing and all. So again, now it is serving as a limitation for in context of clean room software engineering. Organization operating at the ad hoc level. Ad hoc means unplanned level of capability maturity. Not all the organization are directly mapping or achieving the level of 4 or level 3 and all. But yes, most of the organization are still working at the ad hoc level. They do not make any rigorous use of defined processes which are needed in the all phases of software development phases. So because people have not equipped themselves with a CMM model or the way of working like a CMM model is being CMM model has suggested us. So how can we apply the clean room software engineering into that organization? So again, now it is becoming a kind of limitation in that. So yes, software reusability and its type. Every time in the software industry, reusability is always said to be an encouraging aspect of the software industry, so that we can create a better software than the existing software by deriving some sort of code out of it. So to achieve the better software quality more quickly at lower cost, software engineering are beginning to adapt the systematic reuse or design processes. So again, in this context, component, we can reuse the component, we can reuse the entire application. Even I can make use of reuse some of the functionality or functions, like you have created a calculator kind of software, so I'm using it, right? So this is how the reusability is applied at different aspects. Here comes again this in this right. What do you understand by clean room software engineering? Again, it is important from the examination point of view. You just keep ready your stuff. Keep 5-10 minute बाद. Okay, so that clean room software engineering, you should again have this question. नेट तो चल रहा है, चेक करने दो मुझे. हाँ चल रहा है. So again, you can expect this time clean room software engineering and write a brief note on clean room software engineering this time in the examination also, right? Another one is, what do you understand by the CBSE? This is not Central Bureau of Secondary Education and all, senior secondary education. This is all about component based software engineering process. So CBSE in many ways, similar to the conventional or object-oriented software engineering, a software team established the requirement for the system to be built using conventional requirement elicitation techniques and architectural design. So because every time the software works is being assembled by integrating lots of components. So that is why this way of working, this modus operandi, we can call it as a that is component-based software engineering process. Here, the CBSE's process involved domain engineering and component-based development. So now comes re-engineering. Re-engineering means applying the engineering practices, but with a different way of thinking, with some radical ideas into the mind, or we can say sometimes some disruptive disruption is expected at the part of this process or this technology. So then we have to apply the entire re-engineering, right? So sometime in some of the informative stuff, restructuring is also used as a synonym for the re-engineering also. So the process of transformation of a product, in our example, it is software product, with the vision of fulfilling the new business requirement. Sometime we have to apply, or sometime we have to apply the amendment onto the existing software also, so that now this existing software will serve the new business need also. They will reflect new business requirement also. So now this is not an engineered product, rather it has become the re-engineered software product also. So what is the idea behind the application of re-engineering? That is, yes, to improve the quality, because this software was already running. It means there was no question mark on that functionality, but we were expecting to add more feature to it. So that is why new features has been added, and even the data can be migrated easily. So this kind of encouraging features are helping us to go for re-engineering. There is another important aspect, that is reverse engineering, which is the process of redesigning an existing product to improve and broaden its function. Like you imagine the software, I'm just taking it as an example. There's a busy software. I want that it should serve not only to the small scale or medium scale or large scale enterprises, rather it should work as a ERP also. So it means now we are considering that the existing software should broaden in terms of its functionality, and should serve to the quality parameter which is actually required nowadays. So to increase its useful parameter also. So the main aim of reverse engineering is to reduce the manufacturing cost of the new software product, making it competitive into the market. So this is the idea. So let me take attendance. Yes, I can take 5 minutes more. Why reverse engineering? So the original producer, because no longer produces the product, if some previous existing software technology or some web application or some app is not serving the purpose, so definitely here comes the need of reverse engineering. So because the original producer is no longer produces the particular product, right? Another important aspect is, as there is inadequate documentation of a product. I'm having some documentation with me, but on the basis of which I can start making any product or any software product, but it is inadequate. I can't, go ahead because of the lack of documentation. So that will really encourage me to go for reverse engineering also. Some bad features of the product need to be redesigned. Something is that which is not which is not serving somehow, or rather it is not. It should be redesigned to give a again feel good factor, to have a look and good look and feel and all. To update obsolete material also. Sometimes our existing software is not compatible with the new devices, with the new input output devices and all. So again, there is a need of that thing also, to update obsolete material with more current and less expensive technology also. This is always a aspect we look for. So advantage, what all could be the possible advantages that I can capture out of the application of reverse engineering is that with measuring an existing object so that the solid model can be deducted in order to make use of the advantages of CAD, CAM software and technology. Let me simplify it. So reverse engineering will basically give us an idea that how these technology are basically serving, because they are the reverse engineered product in IT. So AutoCAD software is being highly utilized by the different architects and all, and this is computer aided manufacturing tools, computer aided designing tools. All these tools are basically serving to the now industry, or they are the first choice for the industry experts and all, because reverse engineering is applied onto this. So CAD models are used for manufacturing and for rapid prototyping applications also. Hence, we can work on a product without having prior knowledge of the technology involved. Cost saving for the new product. That is why we are encouraging to go for the reverse engineering. Lesser maintenance cost and quality improvement is always an motivational factor. And really, I really want my software must be a competitive kind of. So that is why all these parameters really encourage me to go for reverse engineering. Again, it is very, very good question. Not 5 or 8 or 10 marks. Rather, it is of 3 marks. Differentiate, or we can say that what is re-engineering and what is reverse engineering. So these are good questions. If I will set your paper, I will definitely put it these 2 questions over there. Applications in manufacturing field. So to create a 3D virtual model of an existing physical part for use in 3D CAD CAM software. Yes. So these are the how these CAD CAM software, or revamped software or re-engineered software are serving in the medical industry, to the architect. Even we can create some malware kind of, or this kind of software also. So this is self-explanatory. Again, the important takeaway that we all must understand, rather, that entire re-engineering process is required the application of entire life cycle. The way we have developed a new software from the very beginning or from the scratch. Similarly, if I have applied re-engineering on any aspect of the software development, or re-engineering or reverse engineering, then again I have to apply all the cyclic process also. I will analyze the requirement with the new with the change or with the requested parameters. I will model it. I will analyze the source code. What could be the alternative or remedial phases and transformation phases? What possible changes we will observe when the actual our software will be live. So, and evaluation, or what will be the possible impact. All these things will be applied the way we have applied onto the earlier or fresh software basically. So the way of thinking should be in that way. So this is the only idea. So here is an idea which is giving you a concept that how reverse engineering works. So what we need to do, we need to capture the data first, then put this data into some model and refine this model, and then finally the development will start with this particular reverse engineered software. So yes, reverse engineering, although this is an additional stuff which is not the part of your IGNOU material. Again, this kind of diagram will really help you to reflect your ideas in simple words, or we can say in a short and crispy way. So yes, it is an entire process in which we have to, originally get the matrix or data and then scan the data and then process it, and then software developer will transform into some working model, and then the things will reproduce and then it will be evaluated. This is how the things should be done. So reverse engineering, it basically teaches the internal working of any processor or any software or any system. So learning how the processor handle the data help in understanding many other aspects of the computer security also. Sometimes the things are obsolete, they are not exist even. So that aspect also encourages to go for the reverse engineering also, right? So this is a kind of you can take the screenshot of this particular slide also. So this kind of differentiation can also be asked. That is self-explanatory. You can just have a look into this. So now you all are able to see the idealistic approach in the software engineering is the way we always create the specification and then design, and then new system is arises or developed basically. This was the way we normally keep on thinking. But in reverse engineering, we look for the existing software system, we capture the understanding out of it, that how it can be transformed, and then apply the new practices. We actually transform into a re-engineered system. So these are the different aspects which we all must be aware of it. That yes, reverse engineering is vast and complex world with a lot of practice. Though it can become much easier, a good reverser or reverse engineer nahi, knows their tools inside out, and workflow and the organization are the key reversing. So means if I am going to apply reverse engineering aspect onto my software, onto my existing software, so I must be able to understand the culture of the organization also, that what kind of workflow is there, so that my engineer or reverse engineer product should be acceptable, and it should give the outcome that was expected, right? And what kind of tool that people of the organization they use, all must be explored before going into this part. So with this, your chapter number 9, 11, 12, 3 unit we have covered today. And let me take your questions, and we will start the unit number 10, which is left, into next class. And I have already communicated my idea to you that if the syllabus will not be finished into these classes, we will cover into the practical part also. We are having that one. So quickly, just keep your video to be on so that I can take your screen and your attendance. Just a minute. I will take your question, just a minute. Done.
So, ma'am, can I ask you a question?
Now you can take on your queries.
Okay. Actually, I have two questions. First,
थोड़ा सा लाउड बोलो, आवाज ठीक से आ नहीं रही आपकी. अब बोलो. अब थोड़ा बेटर हो गया. हाँ.
my
Please.
first question is, what's the difference between webmaster and support team?
Okay. Webmaster, although webmaster can also be the part, can also be itself a support team also. Support team here, I mean the person who will actually fix the things, who have all the programming, understanding in terms of application. Apart from this, he will also understand business aspect also. And the role of webmaster is to think in terms of server, in terms of database, in terms of network. All these aspects will be taken care by means of this webmaster, and taking care of feedback and all, because whatever thing is, if the website is not working, so he will be acting as a bridge between the deserving, what we call it, as a candidate who is referring our website site, or the other development team.
And my second question is reverse engineering is not.
Just be a little louder. थोड़ा सा करो, बीच में ठीक हो गया था. हाँ,
Okay, ma'am, I am asking, reverse engineering is not illegal. Like you have a software.
reverse engineering is not a. आपका next word क्या था?
illegal.
No, it's not illegal.
Like ma'am, if you have any software, I perform the reverse engineering.
थोड़ा सा loud बोलो, आपका ना बीच में डाउन हो जाता, मेरे को समझ नहीं आ पाता. Just be a little louder. हाँ.
Okay, like ma'am, suppose you have a software. और मैंने रिवर्स इंजीनियरिंग परफॉर्म किया. मुझे आपके सारे सोर्स कोड और स्टेप्स पता चले, फ्लो पता चला, एंड मैंने सेम सॉफ्टवेयर को रिक्रिएट किया. तो यहाँ पे कॉपीराइट इश्यूज भी तो रेज.
हाँ, मैं आपका कंटेक्स्ट समझ गई थी. आपका पॉइंट यही था कॉपीराइट पे आने में. बट देखो, हम एक बात बार बार बोलते हैं कि सॉफ्टवेयर इंजीनियरिंग में हम खुद ही देखते हैं, हम एक चीज पढ़ के हटते हैं, वो मार्केट में उसका कुछ काम वो आउट ही हो जाता है ना. तो अगर ये सब चीजें हैं, तो इसका मतलब जब आप मेरे सॉफ्टवेयर को मान लो रेफर कर रहे हो, और उसी के ऊपर रिवर्स इंजीनियरिंग अप्लाई करके आप एक नए सॉफ्टवेयर के फॉर्म में उसको नई फंक्शनलिटी साथ में ऐड करके, मेरे वाली भी है और आपने नई भी ऐड कर दी, उसको लॉन्च कर रहे हो, तो आप मुझे बता सकते हो, या आप देखो, अगर कुछ जिसके ऊपर मेरा क्लेम है, या जिसके ऊपर क्या बोलते हैं उसको, एक और वर्ड होता है, पेटेंट है, तो वो तो मेरी मर्जी पे ही डिपेंड होगा कि मैं आपको अलाउ करूंगी या मैं आपके अगेंस्ट कॉपीराइट एक लीगल एक्शंस ले लूंगी. 1 मिनट रुक जाओ दीपक थोड़ा, ठीक है. तो अगर आप
यहाँ पे एक और सीन हो सकता है.
एक मिनट में अपने कंप्लीट कर दूं अपना पॉइंट. अभी मैंने अपना वो पॉइंट पूरा बोला नहीं है, थोड़ा सा मेरे को बताने दो. जो आपका कंसर्न है बिल्कुल जेन्युइन है. देखो, अगर मेरा जो आप चेंजेस अप्लाई कर रहे हो रिवर्स इंजीनियरिंग के ऊपर, अगर वो ऑलरेडी एक ओपन सोर्स है, फिर तो कोई प्रॉब्लम ही नहीं है. ओपन सोर्स का तो कॉन्सेप्ट ही इसीलिए आया था कि सोर्स कोड मस्ट बी रेडिली अवेलेबल टू द पीपल, सो दैट दोज हूसोएवर हैव some better ideas, they can apply that understanding onto this source code, and then that thing can be improvised or optimized, और उसको और बेटर वे में लॉन्च किया जा सकता है. बट हाँ, ये डॉक्यूमेंटेड कहीं पर होना चाहिए कि हाँ, इतना पार्ट, मान लो एक सॉफ्टवेयर था, उसमें 15 पॉइंट्स हैं आपके, मैंने 15 पॉइंट्स में से 5 पॉइंट मैंने आपके सॉफ्टवेयर के ले लिए, तो मैं ये कह सकती हूँ कि ये लेट्स से नेहा के पॉइंट, मतलब उस सॉफ्टवेयर में डॉक्यूमेंटेड किया जा सकता है उसके लीगल डॉक्यूमेंट की टर्म्स में, सो दैट आपको फिर प्रॉब्लम नहीं होगी. क्योंकि मैं ऑलरेडी आपको ही बता रही हूँ, मतलब पूरे जगत को बता रही हूँ, या पूरे डिजिटल वर्ल्ड को ये इन्फॉर्म कर रही हूँ कि ऑल दिस सॉफ्टवेयर हैज बीन डिराइव्ड फ्रॉम दिस पर्टिकुलर सॉफ्टवेयर. तो अब आपका भी वो क्लेम खत्म हो जाएगा ना. आपका पेन मैंने ले लिया और मैंने आपको बता दिया कि पंकज मैंने ये नेहा का पेन लिया है, तो जब मैं खुद ही बता रही हूँ कि मैंने ये चीज वहां से डिराइव किया, तो वो कॉपी राइट का जो एक चैलेंज आता है या इश्यू आता है, वो वहीं पे ब्रेक हो जाता है. हाँ, अगर बिना बताए, जैसे म्यूजिशियन करते हैं, गाना किसी और का अपना नया लिरिक्स डाल देते हैं और उसको अपना म्यूजिक बना देते हैं, तो देखा जाए तो वो भी कहते हैं कि ये AR रहमान का है, मतलब ये उसके कोड है, मतलब गाने के सॉन्ग है, लाइक दिस. तो दिस इज जस्ट अ काइंड ऑफ रेफरेंस फॉर यू टू अंडरस्टैंड माय पॉइंट कि दिस हैपेंस ऑल द टाइम इनटू द इंडस्ट्री, कि हम ओपन सोर्स के केस में चैलेंज नहीं आएगा, लेकिन अगर कोई मेरा पेटेंट, मेरा सॉफ्टवेयर है, तो वहां तो आपको मुझसे पूछ के ही आगे बढ़ना पड़ेगा, तब तो वो आपका पॉइंट जेन्युइन हो जाएगा. अब बोलो अब अपना पॉइंट, अब बोलो अब अपना पॉइंट. आप कुछ कह रहे थे.
नो मैम, एक्चुअली माय पॉइंट इज कि लाइक आपने ओपन सोर्स की बात करी, तो सो अंडरस्टैंड, लाइक अगर मेरा कोई प्राइवेट सॉफ्टवेयर है, या उसमें सपोज मैंने अपने पेमेंट की डिटेल्स सेव कर रखी है लोकली, लाइक सेक्शन के अंदर या ब्राउजर में समथिंग, और आपने उस पर रिवर्स इंजीनियरिंग अप्लाई करी, मेरा
नहीं
प्राइवेट
समझी,
डाटा
एक मिनट दोबारा बोलो अपना क्वेश्चन, नहीं समझ पा रही, थोड़ा सा दोबारा बोलो। आपने अभी क्या ब्राउजर कुछ और भी
लाइक
बोला था?
मैम, मैं सपोज एक सीन देती हूँ, लाइक 15 या 20 डेज पहले ये हुआ था, इंडियन एयरलाइंस से टिकट एक पर्टिकुलर बंदे की कैंसिल हुई थी, और उसने
ठीक।
उनके जो भी ब्राउजर था वहाँ से उसकी डिटेल निकाली, और शायद उसने समथिंग हैकिंग वगैरह करी, कुछ भी अप्लाई किया। तो इन दिस केस हम लाइक जो एयर इंडिया है उस बंदे के ऊपर केस फाइल कर सकती है, या वो
बिल्कुल
डेवलपर
कर
है तो
सकती
वो
है,
चलेगा उसके लिए?
बिल्कुल कर सकती है।
तो
इस क्वेश्चन
इट
को ना,
मीन्स
हाँ बहुत अच्छा क्वेश्चन पूछा है, इस पे थोड़ा सा हेल्दी डिस्कशन होगा। हम इसको आज की प्रैक्टिकल क्लास में कवर कर लेंगे। एक बार आपका नाम देखूं, मेरे को याद भी रहेगा, हम इसको
नहीं है
उसके ऊपर
याद है।
डिस्कशन कर लेते हैं। नेहा ही है, मैंने तो ऐसे तुक्के से बोल दिया था उस टाइम दिखा नहीं था मैंने, बट ठीक है नेहा, बहुत अच्छा क्वेश्चन है ये। डाल दो, मैं सबके इनपुट भी चाहूंगी इस पार्ट पे, और अपना भी इनपुट दूंगी जो मेरे को समझ में आता है। तो इसके ऊपर एक अच्छा हेल्दी डिस्कशन करेंगे। और आज आपके लिए बहुत बहुत गुड न्यूज़ भी है, वो बताऊंगी आपको प्रैक्टिकल क्लासेस में। ठीक है,
क्या मैम?
ठीक है
थैंक
कोई, हाँ
यू।
ओके ओके, चलो।